this all situated. I'm gonna see if I can see. Well, it matters you guys can see it. Get a little bit to get focused. So, I'm Troy Hay, and I'm doing the election of, I'm presenting to you the election of 1876 and the Compromise of 1877, and how a close election affected America for over a century. Now, it is my job to inform you of 5 main points: the pre-election, the election of 1876, election day, corruption in the election, the Compromise of 1877, and the effects of that compromise. So let's get started. So first, we have 2 candidates: Rutherford B. Hayes, governor of Ohio, seen as a continuation of the corrupt Grant administration, a do-nothing kind of candidate. And on the other side, we see New York Governor Samuel J. Tilden, the Democrat. He's known as the reform candidate, fought against corruption in New York as their governor, and was a prosecutor for the Tammany Hall incidents. So we see a lot of mudslinging in this election, quite like the 1826 election. A lot of mudslinging, a lot of personal attacks. Republicans faced with what they had done with how they had handled the Panic of 1873. Democrats were very hopeful. They had been in office for over 16 years in the White House. They were ready to make a comeback kid kind of way. So the media totally expected a Tilden victory. But by how much was the question. So election day comes around, and the Tilden camp is very optimistic. They're very hopeful. They think that they're going to win. They have the votes. They have the people. They have the organizers. The Hayes campaign is very pessimistic. Doesn't believe that they're going to win. They're kind of backtracking, hoping they don't lose by a lot, lose the Senate as well. But as votes start coming in, Tilden's ahead over 250,000 votes. Hayes is worried. He believes the Republicans are worried. They believe that he won't win. Tilden will win, be the first Democrat to win the White House in over 16 years. So going to bed on election day, Tilden is at 184 in the electoral vote, 1 vote away from the presidency. Hayes is 168, 165, 20 votes away from the presidency. 3 states yet to be called: South Carolina, Louisiana, and Florida. Now, these 3 states are important because these are the last Republican-controlled legislatures and have Republican governors in the South at the time. The rest being Democrats and being solid, full Democrat. So we see corruption start to come out. Rumor has it that the Republican governors of those 3 states, Louisiana, Florida, and South Carolina, stuck the ballot boxes for Hayes and prevents Tilden voters from even voting. We see the House of Representatives call on the Electoral Commission, and by a vote of 8-7, gave Hayes all 3 states with 20 electoral votes, giving him a majority of 1 in the Electoral College, one of the slimmest votes in history. Now, the compromise between these 2 men, there was nothing without compromise. They were scared of armed conflict in the Capitol. This is why we see the Compromise of 1877. Many didn't want another civil war, like they were talking of. 4 main points I want to stress in this one: the appointment of a Southern Democrat to Hayes' cabinet, the removal of federal troops in the South, the industrialization of the South, and the construction of a transcontinental railroad in the South. Now, this compromise has its effects. Disenfranchised blacks in the South for years to come. Many Republicans in the South, black Republicans, felt betrayed by their Republican friends and their Republicans in the North, and many were victims of domestic terrorism in the future. And this is why we see just this election haunting politics for almost 100 years. And all in all, just this election just is so important because this is where we see after the 13th Amendment is passed, we see it sort of be backtracked and Democrats loosening or putting restrictions on blacks' rights to vote. And this election is very important to me. And this is how a close election affected America for almost a century. Thank you.